What's up, dude? Spaz here. Welcome to my channel. I want to teach you guys how to fly a helicopter in Battlefield Hardline. I've been getting quite a few messages, even from Battlefield 4, in some of those videos where I flied. A lot of people requesting that I do this. Just a really quick tutorial showing you my controls and just some brief explanations on how to maneuver the helo. I don't want to go in depth because you can over-elaborate a lot of this stuff. And the truth is, guys, you're not going to learn how to fly just from watching a video. I think I can help you out, set up getting your controls set up and some basic maneuvering, but it comes down to hours invested. It comes down to practice. You're not going to be a phenomenal pilot by just watching one video and practicing for 2 hours. A lot of the dudes that you see that are even better than me in flying helos, they've spent substantial amounts of time just flying helos. But let's go ahead and talk about my controls, and then I want to just kind of visually show you what these controls are doing to the helo. And then to close this video, I will have a camera set up to show you my actual hand movements when I am flying. So let's go ahead and go through these controls really quick. I'm just going to rattle them off. Throttle up, throttle down. These are my directional keys. You can substitute up, down, left, and right for your WASD. I use arrow keys. It's not orthodox, I know, but I've been doing it for far too long to change. So throttle up, throttle down, basically controlling how fast your propeller is spinning. Up and down keys. Yaw right, right, or what would be your D key if you're a WASD user. Yaw left, left. Pitch down, pitch up. When I pitch down, I push my hand forward. When I pitch up or pull back, I pull back on the mouse. Roll right, roll left is also a mouse bind. And then I have toggle chase camera to mouse 4. C is just fine if you're using WASD, but I prefer having toggle chase camera on my mouse so I can just switch to it really fast. One thing to point out with toggle chase camera, it is beneficial to use this view from time to time, especially when identifying air targets or trying to get a better idea of what you are surrounded by. So once you learn how to fly in cockpit view, which is the most important view to learn how to fly in my opinion, definitely mess around with toggle chase camera because it does come in handy when you are playing in servers with decent pilots, because you are going to have a peripheral view, a little bit bigger peripheral view that you might not otherwise have. Okay, so let's go ahead and explain these controls in terms of what they actually do to the helicopter, because this is the most important part when we look at controls. I could just give you my controls and be like, oh, go run with it. You're not going to figure it out necessarily. Throttle up, throttle down, that's self-explanatory. But yaw right and yaw left. Yaw is essentially, think of it as a turret, okay? Yaw is going to control your horizontal rotation. It is basically, let's say the helo is floating centered, right? If he's going to yaw left, well, he's going to yaw left, and if he's going to yaw right, he's going to yaw right. It's just horizontal. It doesn't move the helo either which way unless you combine it with some sort of pitch or roll keystroke or whatever you want to call it. Now, pitch down. To understand how this works really, because I think this is important, the reason I have all of my bindings the way they are from pitch, with pitch and roll being associated with the mouse, the reason I've done this is because I wanted my hand to mimic a helicopter of sorts. So what I did is set all of the movement that would make my helicopter actually change position to my hand. So when I pitch up, right, or pitch down, excuse me, think of it this way. If the helo is just floating, the center of gravity is in the middle. It's not moving forward. It's not moving backwards. It's not moving side to side. It is perfectly hovering. The center of gravity is centered perfectly on the helo. When I pitch down, what happens? When I pitch down or nose down, push my mouse forward, this center of gravity gets switched down towards the cockpit. The weight is going to be down towards the cockpit, tilting the center of gravity like this. Now, if I don't control my throttle or do anything to my throttle, the helo will just pretty much lawn dart like that after you set a pitch down. When you keep throttle going, the propeller is pulling me towards you guys like this. Pitch back, weight goes from the center to the back, propeller's pulling towards me. Roll right, center of gravity is rotating to the right of the helo. The propeller is pulling us whichever way we rolled. Now this is important because there are different maneuvers you can do when you are going to circle around a target, okay? You have to do 3 types of movement, believe it or not. A lot of people intuitively, let's say I want to circle around something. Let's say I'm going to try to circle around this thumb, okay? A lot of people think that you want to tilt your helo in like this and circle around it. Well, now that's how you turn around, right? Because the propeller is pulling me towards that centered target. But if I want to circle around it, I have to circle around this right here. Okay, it was my thumb. I have to do two things. First thing I have to do is I have to set an anchor point. This is where I'm aiming, and this is what I want to rotate around. I then rotate my helo away from that target. If I rotate in, I'm going to be pulled towards the center of whatever it is I'm trying to rotate around. Doesn't work. I have to tilt away. Now, how, when I tilt away, do I keep my cockpit focused on what I want to circle around? I'm going to yaw. Okay, so circling around something is a little counterintuitive, right? You are literally rolling away from your target, but adjusting using yaw to keep it centered. So you are angled in a weird way when you watch a helo circle around something. It is kind of pulling you away from that target, but you are keeping close by using yaw to keep your anchor point on the center, and pitch. When you use pitch, bigger the pitch or the steeper the pitch, more nose down, the closer you are to what it is that you are rotating around. If you need to distance yourself away from what it is that you're rotating, pull back. Makes a lot of sense. Now, I'm going to forward over to just some basic maneuvering in the helos now that I've explained the controls. You guys will see how I do this with my hands. All right, guys, let's go ahead and do this. I have a tripod set up next to me, and I'm trying to keep my hands really grouped together to show you what's going on. Not necessarily the most comfortable setup or the best for you guys visually, but I think it'll do. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the controls I explained about in the first part of this video. Obviously, throttle up, throttle down, lift off your helicopter, land it, controls your altitude. As I was talking with yaw, yaw right, yaw left. It's just a rotational type turn. It's a turret-like thing, okay? Now, notice this line here on the screen by your crosshairs. This will let you know whether or not you are nose down, the lines above it, or nosed up, lines below the crosshairs. To move forward, we're just hovering here, right? Let's get our center right on that line. We shouldn't be moving too much of any which way. Now to move forward, maintain throttle, nose down. Adjust how much nose down, how fast you want to go, and even your elevation. You'll notice that there is a sweet spot between how fast you can move forward without losing elevation. You see, watch. I can nose down to shit, but I'm losing elevation, right? Now, if I want to just travel in a steady elevation but move forward, well, I pull up a little bit until you hit that sweet spot to where you realize you're not moving down, but you're still moving forward. Now, you can slow down into a specific elevation. Let's say I wanted to come in kind of by this semi. I'm going to nose down, right? And I'm going to throttle. I'm going to feather my throttle until I'm nose down, and then I'm going to pull up, and I'm even with this semi here. Pretty straightforward. Now to turn, basic turns, easiest way to turn, using your yaw. So we'll move forward, go past again, and we just want to turn around. I'm going to pull up. That's the standard way to turn. Now let's talk about turning around stuff. Let's go ahead and use this Pacific Bank as an example. Let's say we want to turn around this building. Turn around it, not circle it. We want to turn around it. Passing it on the right side, so we're going to nose down. Now I'm going to start to roll to my left and yaw left. And I can just rotate around the building. Yawing left, and I'm in a little bit of a right to left roll. Now rolling is important to point out. You have to understand how a helo rolls. So let's just go ahead and center this building. Now watch what happens when I roll to the right and maintain throttle. Okay, everything on the left, I'm moving away from it. I roll left, moving away from everything on the right. This is important for when you circle, because it's kind of counterintuitive when it comes to circling targets. If I want to circle this building, here are the steps to do it. Set my anchor point. My crosshairs at all times when flying are really my anchor point. If I want to rotate or circle around this building going in a right rotation, I have to do 3 different things here. First thing I have to do is rotate away from my target. You can't rotate in and try to circle around it. You can rotate in and turn around it, but if you rotate in, you're going to be pulling towards the center of that building. You're not going to be able to rotate around it. So, anchor point, set our roll to the right. Then from there, watch what happens. Well, I'm not keeping that building in view, so what do I have to do? I have to use my yaw. My yaw is going to help harness this anchor point in the center. So here's my building. I'm going to start a right roll. Notice how I'm using left yaw to keep... Whoa. Hit an AC unit. Sorry, guys. Let's get up a little bit higher. Roll right. Using yaw to keep it centered. A little bit slower turn, but it's just showing you the point here. That I'm using yaw and I'm in a turn. Once you start your helo in a turn, you don't have to keep turning it, right? It's going to hold that angle. Now, the third thing you have to do when rotating around a building, because I said there were 3 things, comes from your pitch up or down. This is going to control how close you want to be to the building, right? So if I want to circle this rather close, I'm going to set my roll right. I'm going to nose down and yaw left. Nosing down is going to pull me into the center of the building, but my right roll is going to keep me moving away, and my left yaw keeps the anchor point centered on the middle of the building. If I need to move away from the building, let's just say that there are open windows and we identify a target, he has an RPG, whatever it is. I need to get away from this building or distance myself a little bit. Well, I'm not going to nose down. I'm just going to stop nosing down, and I'm going to let this helo back away. Now, if I need to get close, I'm going to nose down and kind of come in towards it. Still on that same turn, guys. I haven't messed with my rotation, and I'm just going to yaw to keep my harness or my center point in there. Let's go left. Let's start all over from the left because some of this is kind of counterintuitive. I want to rotate around the Pacific Bank going in a left rotation. What do I have to do? Well, I don't want to set a right roll because that'll drive my or pull my helo into the center of this building. I have to set a left roll and yaw right while nosing down to stay close. See, I'm just hitting yaw right, nosing down, adjusting, and I'm still in my turn. I haven't come out of my turn. Now, if I want to stop turning, rotate back to the right. Pretty self-explanatory. So let's go through some of these. Let's go ahead and turn around this building here, this red building. Let's turn around it, not circle it. Let's make a right-hand turn around it. Nose down, still on my throttle. I'm going to rotate to the right and yaw right. Got a little bit of a rotation. And my yaw. I can rotate around this building. Let's go ahead and do it from an external view to show you. I am slightly rolling to the right, but mostly yawing. Trying to maintain that nose down. It's harder to fly in third person, FYI. Okay, now let's go ahead and say we want to circle these or pass these buildings moving right. Right? We want to be able to, let's say there are targets inside these buildings, and I want to be able to move back and forth between them while keeping crosshairs for targets, okay? Well, I'm going to roll right, and I'm going to keep hitting my yaw. And then I can roll left and adjust with my yaw to whichever building I want to be focused at. See, just this movement is going to move me back and forth between the buildings. The rolling right, depending on which building I want to look at, while I'm rolling that way, I control with my yaw. That's it. I hope this explains it, guys. These are some very basic controls. The rest of it, like I said, it comes down to practice, practice, practice. You're not going to learn how to do this after an hour, after 2 hours. Jump into test servers, jump into empty servers, and just fly. But that's it for this one, guys. I just wanted to give you my controls and a general understanding of how to fly the helo. If you have any questions or you feel I didn't go over something in depth enough, please put it in the comment section and I can address that in another video. But we will catch you in another one. Kyoka.